right, so you want to dig into quitting smoking, huh? Well, you send in a ton of stuff, articles, research. Clearly, it's on your mind. Let's do this deep dive.
It's like a plan. We'll break it all down. The good stuff, strategies, facts, and hopefully some serious motivation to finally kick those cigarettes to the curb.
Totally. And I'm all about those light bulb moments. Like, hey, did you know there's research that says smoking can actually make your skin age faster? Wild, right? We'll get to all that. But first things first, why is quitting such a beast?
Well, nicotine is a heck of a drug, not just physical either. It gets wrapped up in your head, your emotions, routines, even your social life. That's a lot to untangle.
Yeah, I could see that. So it's not just willpower. It's like you got to understand all those different pieces.
Exactly. And let's be real, quitting IS hard, but millions have done it. They're not superhuman. It starts with a decision, just saying, okay, I'm ready for this.
I like that. And speaking of ready, the benefits of quitting. Wow, some of the stuff in these sources is amazing, like instant results. Your body starts high-fiving you within minutes. Seriously.
Oh, yeah. Think about it. Every cigarette, your heart rate, blood pressure, they spike. When you stop, they start chilling out almost immediately. Blood oxygen levels go up. Your circulation gets a boost right off the bat.
It's like your body's throwing a woohoo, I'm free party. And then the long game, the long-term stuff.
Absolutely. Lower risk of heart disease, stroke, lung cancer, actually a whole bunch of cancers. And the financial side, cigarettes ain't cheap.
True. That's a big one. It's not just health. It's like freeing up cash for stuff you actually enjoy.
Right. Think about the people around you, too. Secondhand smoke is no joke. Quitting protects them, your loved ones.
Okay, so we're fired up, ready to make a move. What about this whole set a quit date thing I keep seeing? What's the deal with that?
It's about commitment. Instead of someday, it's this is the day. Pick a date within the next 2 weeks. Not too far out that you lose steam, but enough time to prep.
Makes sense. Our sources mentioned making it meaningful too, like a birthday, anniversary, even the first day of spring. Why is that important?
It taps into your feelings. If the date means something to you, it kind of adds weight to the decision. Plus, it's a built-in celebration. Imagine a quit smoking anniversary party.
Now that's a party I can get behind. Okay, so date's locked in. What about this know your triggers thing? What exactly are we talking about?
Triggers are those little things that make you want to light up. Could be a time of day, a feeling, even certain people you hang with.
So it's like detective work for your own habits. There's that journaling thing too. Why is that so helpful?
It helps you see patterns. You might not even realize every time you smoke. Jot down what's going on, where you are, who you're with, how you're feeling.
Like a scientist of your own cravings. I dig it.
Okay.
So triggers are figured out. What's next?
Healthy swaps. Time for those. Say stress is a trigger. Instead of a cigarette, you try deep breathing, a quick walk, blasting your favorite song.
Swap out the bad for something good. Makes sense. And quitting doesn't have to be a solo mission. Our sources talk about finding your people.
Huge. Telling friends and family is a big deal. Their support can make all the difference. Plus, they can help you navigate tricky situations.
Like having your own personal cheering section. I love it. And there's this quit buddy idea too. What's that all about?
Someone who's also quitting. You support each other through the whole thing. Share tips, celebrate wins, vent when you need to.
Teammate for the challenge? Makes sense.
Yeah.
And I bet support groups are super helpful too.
Totally. That sense of community, knowing you're not alone, you hear stories, learn from others, it makes a difference.
So important. Okay, so team assembled. What about all the different ways to quit? Our sources mention a bunch.
There's no one magic bullet.
Right.
We've got things like nicotine replacement therapy, medications, even apps. It's about what works for you.
All right, let's break it down. First up, nicotine replacement therapy, or NRT. What's the deal with that?
NRT basically gives you nicotine without the nasty stuff in cigarettes. Helps ease withdrawal and cravings.
So instead of going cold turkey, it's like a gentler way to wean off.
Exactly. It comes in different forms. Patches, gum lozenges. Your doctor can help you pick the best one for you.
Okay, makes sense. What about those medications? How do they work?
They basically make smoking less enjoyable. Reduce those cravings. Some target your brain's reward system. Others block the effects of nicotine.
Attacking the problem from different angles. Interesting. And this one's right up my alley. Quit smoking apps. What's so cool about those?
Tech can be a huge help. These apps track your progress, monitor cravings, give you tips and motivation. Some even connect you with a support community, all in your pocket.
It's like a quick coach you can take anywhere.
Yep.
I love that. Okay, so this next point is kind of mind-blowing. Our sources talk about replacing not just the nicotine, but the habit itself.
That's a key insight. Smoking isn't just the chemical, it's the physical act. the hand-to-mouth thing.
Hadn't thought of it that way. So how do we tackle that?
Find substitutes for that action: chewing gum, sipping water, even doodling or fidgeting with a stress ball.
I like those ideas. Our sources also talk about making new routines. Like if you always smoked after a meal, maybe try going for a walk instead.
Exactly. Consciously changing those ingrained patterns. Now let's talk about something a lot of people experience: setbacks. They happen, right?
Of course. Our sources say it's not about failure. It's a chance to learn and grow.
Exactly. Instead of getting discouraged, analyze what happened, what triggered you, stress tired around other smokers.
Turn a slip up into a strategy session.
Exactly. Every attempt, even if it's not perfect, gets you closer to your goal.
That's encouraging. Now for the fun part. Celebrating the wins. Our sources talk about positive reinforcement.
Totally. Quitting smoking is huge. Every step deserves a high five. Give yourself a reward, a nice meal, a movie, anything you enjoy.
Makes the journey more enjoyable, right?
Totally. You're connecting quitting with good feelings. That's powerful stuff.
Love it. Okay, let's fast forward. Life without cigarettes. What does that look like?
Imagine waking up without that cough, breathing deep, having energy. Think about all the things you can do without feeling winded or held back.
Like a whole new you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're setting a good example too, especially for any kids in your life, showing them it's possible to break free and live healthier.
That's a powerful message. Okay, this is where things get interesting. Our sources dive into the psychology. Things like cognitive dissonance. What's that all about?
It's basically that mental discomfort when your beliefs and actions don't line up. Like, smoking is bad, but you do it anyway. That clash can be intense.
So how does that play into quitting?
When you decide to quit, you're changing your belief about yourself. You're saying, I'm not a smoker anymore. But your actions trying to quit might fight with that old identity. That leads to guilt stress, maybe even stronger cravings.
Wow, I can see that. So how do you deal with that mental tug of war?
You got to actively prove that new belief. Every time you resist a craving, every time you make a healthy choice, you're showing yourself, I am a non-smoker.
Like building evidence for your new self.
Exactly. And as those wins pile up, the dissonance fades, that new belief, I am a non-smoker, gets stronger and stronger.
So empowering. Okay, we got to talk about those withdrawal symptoms. What are some common ones people face?
Nicotine withdrawal can look different for everyone. But some common ones are intense cravings, irritability, anxiety, trouble focusing, even sleep problems.
Sounds tough. Anything people can do to make it easier.
Remember, those symptoms are a sign your body is healing. That's good. And they usually hit hardest in that first week or so after quitting.
Okay, good to know.
Also, be ready with coping strategies. Deep breathing mindfulness exercises, even just distracting yourself with something fun can make a huge difference.
And of course, those resources we talked about, NRT medication support groups, they're there to help. Now our sources talk about relapse prevention. What does that mean exactly?
Being proactive, not reactive. Think about those high-risk situations, the ones that make you crave a cigarette, and have a plan.
So it's like being a strategist for your quit journey.
Exactly. If you know being around other smokers is a trigger, maybe avoid those situations for a while. Or have a polite way to say no if someone offers you a cigarette.
Setting boundaries. Having your game plan ready.
Exactly. And super important, if you do slip up, don't beat yourself up. Figure out what happened, learn from it, and adjust your plan for next time.
Always improving. Now let's talk about something really important. Self-care during this whole process.
Quitting smoking isn't just physical, it's emotional. You're breaking a serious addiction. That's stressful. Taking care of yourself helps you ride those waves.
So what are some ways people can put self-care front and center?
The basics are huge. Sleep enough, eat good food, move your body, but also make time for things you enjoy. Hobbies, nature time, connecting with loved ones.
A little TLC when you need it most.
Exactly. And don't forget about relaxation techniques. Deep breathing, meditation, yoga. These can help manage stress and lift your mood.
Okay, self-care checklist complete. Now, our sources talk about the social side of quitting. Smoking can be a social thing. So how does quitting change those dynamics?
You might feel a bit left out when your friends are smoking, especially at first. It's good to think ahead about those situations and have a plan. Maybe suggest doing something else that doesn't involve smoking, like going for a walk, getting coffee, catching a movie.
Finding ways to connect without the cigarettes.
Exactly. And if your friends are really there for you, they'll be happy to find ways to hang out that don't involve smoking.
That's what good friends do.
Yeah.
But what if they're not so supportive? What if they pressure you to smoke or make you feel bad about quitting?
That's rough. But you have the right to make choices that are good for you. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone.
It's your health. your journey.
Exactly. Politely but firmly say no and remind them you're serious about this. If they keep pushing, it might be time to rethink those friendships.
Surround yourself with people who lift you up, not drag you down.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Oh.
Okay, I want to talk about something that's a huge motivator. The long-term benefits, beyond just the physical stuff.
Oh yeah, there are tons. As your body heals, you'll probably feel better overall. More energy, more vitality. Plus, kicking an addiction like this can seriously boost your confidence and self-esteem.
Like a total transformation.
It is. And lots of people find that relationships get better too. They're not as irritable from withdrawal. They have more time and energy for their loved ones.
It's like quitting smoking frees up more of you to be present in your life and your relationships. Now, our sources mention post-quitting weight gain. What's up with that?
It's true, some people gain weight after quitting. Nicotine is a stimulant that can curb your appetite. So when you quit, your appetite might come back strong. Plus, your metabolism might slow down a bit too, which can lead to some weight gain.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. So what can people do to avoid or manage that weight gain while they're quitting?
Focus on healthy habits. Eat lots of fruits, veggies, and whole grains. Get some exercise, even if it's just a brisk walk every day.
Make healthy choices part of your new normal.
Exactly. And don't hesitate to talk to your doctor or a registered dietitian. They can help you create a personalized plan.
Good advice. Now, this next benefit is pretty cool. Our sources say that quitting smoking can actually make you a more interesting person.
I love that. And it's true, when you quit, you're not just breaking a bad habit, you're challenging yourself. You're growing. You're becoming a healthier and more vibrant version of yourself.
Sounds like an adventure.
Exactly. And as you go through this journey, you'll learn so much about yourself, your strengths, your resilience. You'll have stories to tell, insights to share. You'll inspire others.
That's a beautiful way to look at it. It's not just about what you're giving up. It's about what you're gaining.
Exactly. And remember, you're not alone. Millions of people have quit smoking. And there are tons of resources out there to help you do the same.
Okay, this has been amazing. We've covered so much. What are some key takeaways you want our listener to remember?
First, quitting smoking is a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs, but don't give up. Celebrate your successes, learn from your setbacks, and keep moving forward.
Great advice. What else?
Second, find what works for you. There's no magic formula. Try different strategies, different resources. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
And last but not least,
remember that you're capable of this. You have the strength to break free from this addiction and create a healthier, happier life.
words to live by. All right, we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, we'll wrap up this deep dive with some inspiring success stories and some final words of encouragement. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, we've talked about the tough stuff, the good stuff, even dipped our toes into the psychology of it all. But let's go a little deeper into that. You know those mental blocks that can make quitting such a pain?
All right, let's do it. Our sources talk about this thing called cognitive dissonance. What's the deal with that?
It's basically a fancy way of saying, we don't like it when our actions and beliefs clash. Like you know smoking is bad for you, but you still do it. That creates this inner tension.
Ah, so it's like a battle in your brain.
Right.
What you know versus what you do. How does that mess with someone trying to quit?
Well, think about it. When you decide to quit, you're saying, hey, I'm not a smoker anymore. But the old habits, the cravings, they're still hanging around. That clash can make you feel guilty, stressed. It can even amp up those cravings. It's like your brain is putting up a fight.
So how do you win that fight? How do you outsmart your own brain?
You got to really own that new identity, the non-smoker. Every time you resist a craving, every time you choose a healthier option, you're basically proving to yourself, hey, I'm the real deal.
Like you're building up evidence for your new self.
Exactly. And the more you do it, the weaker those old connections get. Eventually, that new identity, the non-smoker, it sticks. And the dissonance, that mental tug of war, it fades away.
Okay, so it's like a mental game as much as a physical one. Now, what about those withdrawal symptoms? What are some of the common ones that people should brace themselves for?
Nicotine withdrawal. It can show up in a bunch of different ways. You might have super strong cravings, get irritable, anxious, have trouble concentrating. Even your sleep can get messed up.
Yikes, sounds rough. Is there anything people can do to make those symptoms a little less brutal?
First thing to remember, those withdrawal symptoms, they're actually a good sign. It means your body's healing itself.
Yeah.
And they usually hit their peak in that first week or so after you quit.
Okay, that's good to know at least.
It also helps to be prepared, you know? Have some coping strategies lined up. Deep breathing mindfulness exercises, even just distracting yourself with something fun can make a huge difference.
Good to have a plan. And of course, there are those resources we talked about, NRT medications, support groups. Those can be a lifesaver. Now, our sources keep mentioning this relapse prevention thing. What's that all about?
Relapse prevention. It's all about thinking ahead, Figure out those situations where you're most likely to cave to a craving and come up with a plan to handle them before they happen.
So it's like creating a strategy guide for your quit journey. Know where the traps are.
Exactly. If you know that going to a bar with your friends who smoke is going to be a trigger, maybe choose a different activity or have a polite way to say no if someone offers you a cigarette.
Setting boundaries, having your defenses up.
Exactly. And here's a big one. If you do slip up, don't beat yourself up about it. Just figure out what happened, what triggered it, and adjust your plan for next time. It's all about learning as you go.
Constantly evolving your strategy. I like it. Okay, let's switch gears for a minute. Our sources talk a lot about self-care during this process. Why is that so important?
Think about it. Quitting smoking. It's stressful for your body and your mind. You're breaking a serious addiction. That takes a toll. Taking care of yourself. That's how you handle the ups and downs.
So what are some ways people can make sure they're taking care of themselves during this time?
The simple stuff is huge. Get enough sleep, eat healthy foods, find ways to move your body, but also make time for things that bring you joy. Hobbies, spending time in nature, connecting with people you love.
Give yourself a little extra love when you need it most.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of relaxation, deep breathing, meditation, yoga. Those can work wonders for calming your mind and easing stress.
Okay, so self-care is a must. Got it. Now, our sources talk about the social side of things too. Smoking, it's often tied to social situations. So How does quitting affect those dynamics?
Yeah, you might feel a little left out when your friends are smoking, especially at first. It's a good idea to think about those situations ahead of time and have a plan. Maybe suggest doing something else that doesn't involve cigarettes. Like going for a walk or grabbing coffee or catching a movie.
Finding those ways to connect that don't revolve around cigarettes.
Right. And if your friends are truly supportive, they'll be happy to find ways to hang out that don't involve smoking.
True friends will always have your back. But what if your friends aren't so understanding? What if they pressure you to smoke or make you feel bad about your decision?
That's a tough spot to be in. But remember, you have the right to do what's best for you. You don't owe anyone an explanation for taking care of your health.
It's your journey. You get to choose the path.
Exactly. Just politely but firmly say no. Let them know you're serious about quitting. If they keep pushing it, well, you might need to step back from those friendships a bit.
Surround yourself with people who build you up, not tear you down. I love that advice. Now, I want to talk about something that I think is a huge motivator for a lot of people. Those long-term benefits of quitting. The ones that go beyond just the physical stuff.
Oh yeah, there are tons. As your body starts to heal from the damage smoking has done, you probably notice that your mood improves. You have more energy. You just feel more alive overall. Plus, overcoming an addiction like this, it can do wonders for your confidence and self-esteem.
It's like a total transformation, inside and out.
It really is. And a lot of people find that their relationships get better too. They're not as edgy from nicotine withdrawal, and they have more time and energy to give to the people they care about.
It's like quitting smoking frees up more of you to be present in your life and in your relationships. Now, I know we touched on this before, but I want to dig a little deeper into the whole post-quitting weight gain thing. What's the deal with that?
So nicotine, it's a stimulant, and it can actually suppress your appetite. So when you quit, it's totally normal for your appetite to come back, and sometimes it comes back with a vengeance. Plus, smoking can rev up your metabolism a bit, so when you quit, your metabolism might slow down, and that can contribute to some weight gain.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So is there anything people can do to avoid or manage that weight gain while they're trying to quit?
The key is to make healthy choices a priority. Eat a balanced diet, lots of fruits, veggies, whole grains, and find ways to move your body regularly, even if it's just a brisk walk every day.
So it's all about building those healthy habits into your new routine.
Exactly. And if you're concerned about weight gain, don't hesitate to reach out to your doctor or a registered dietitian. They can help you create a plan that works for you.
Always good to have expert advice.
Yeah.
Now, this next benefit, this one's pretty interesting. Our sources say that quitting smoking can actually make you a more interesting person.
I love that. And it's so true. When you quit smoking, you're not just breaking a bad habit, you're pushing yourself to grow. You're becoming a healthier, more vibrant version of yourself.
It's like you're embarking on this journey of self-discovery.
Exactly. And as you go through that journey, you'll learn so much about yourself. about your inner strength, your resilience. You'll have stories to tell, insights to share. You'll inspire other people.
It's not just about what you're giving up, it's about who you're becoming. I love that perspective.
Exactly. And remember this, you're not alone in this. Millions of people have quit smoking, and there are tons of resources available to help you do the same.
So many people have walked this path before you and come out stronger on the other side. Okay, we've covered so much in this deep dive. What are some of the key takeaways you want our listener to walk away with?
First and foremost, quitting smoking. It's a journey, not a destination. There will be bumps along the way, but don't give up. Celebrate every win, no matter how small. Learn from every setback and just keep moving forward.
Love that. What else?
Second, find what works for you. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. So experiment, try different strategies, explore different resources. And don't be afraid to ask for help. There's no shame in needing support.
And to wrap things up, what's your final message for our listener?
Never, ever give up on yourself. You are worthy of a healthy, happy, smoke-free life. And we believe in you.
That's such a powerful message. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll wrap up this deep dive with some inspiring stories from people who've successfully quit, plus some final words of encouragement. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, we're back for the final part of this deep dive. It's been a journey, right? We've talked about everything. The good, the bad, the ugly, the science, the psychology, you name it.
We really have. But, at the end of the day, it's real people facing this challenge, coming in on top. Their stories, they matter.
Totally. Those success stories, they're like fuel, right? They show us it's possible. Do our sources touch on what those success stories have in common? Like what helps people actually quit for good? They do. And one thing that pops up a lot, it's that aha moment, that realization, smoking, it's just not doing it for them anymore. Maybe it's a health scare. Maybe they want to be a better example for their kids, or maybe they're just tired of being controlled by this thing.
It's like something clicks.
Yeah.
And they're ready for a change.
Exactly. Another big one, finding the right method. Because what works for one person might not work for another. It's about exploring, trying different things, NRT medication therapy support groups, until you find that sweet spot.
It's about finding your own path, your own way to freedom.
Love that. And almost every success story we looked at, they talk about support, the people in their corner, cheering them on, even when they doubted themselves.
It's so powerful to know you're not alone in this fight.
It really is, whether it's family, friends, a quit buddy, a support group, even an online community, that support system, it can make all the difference.
Okay, support system locked and loaded. Now let's talk about something that I know trips a lot of people up. Cravings. They can be so intense, so frequent, especially when you're first starting out.
Cravings are totally normal. Think of it this way. It's your brain saying, hey, wait a minute, where's my nicotine? But here's the thing. They don't last forever. They usually peak in those first few weeks, and then they gradually start to fade.
Okay, that's good to know. But what about in the meantime? How can people handle those cravings when they hit full force?
Think of cravings like waves. They build up, they crash, and then they recede. Write it out, and it'll pass.
Just gotta weather the storm.
Exactly. And distraction. Distraction is your best friend. Find something you enjoy, call a friend, go for a walk, listen to music, do a puzzle. Anything to get your mind off that craving.
Out of sight, out of mind. I like that. Our sources mentioned some physical stuff too, right? Like ways to actually trick your body into chilling out.
Yep, deep breathing. That can be huge. When a craving hits, just stop. Take a few deep breaths. Really focus on the air going in and out.
Like a mini meditation.
Exactly. Another one, super simple. Drink a glass of water. Sometimes your body's just thirsty, and your brain misinterprets it as a craving.
Makes sense. Stay hydrated, people. Okay, so we've got cravings covered. What about social situations? I know those can be tough, especially when you're first trying to quit.
They can be tricky, but a little planning goes a long way. Think about those high-risk situations, parties, happy hours, hanging out with friends who smoke, and come up with a game plan.
So it's like, if you know you're going to be around smokers, be prepared. Have your strategy ready.
Right. Maybe you decide to skip those scenes for a while, or maybe you have a polite way to say no if someone offers you a cigarette. You're in control.
Setting boundaries. Protecting your quit.
Got it. Exactly. Another helpful tip, bring your own drinks and snacks. That way you've got something to do with your hands and your mouth, which can help with those urges to smoke.
Smart. It's like bringing your own backup.
Exactly. And don't forget, it's totally okay to excuse yourself if you're feeling overwhelmed. Don't push yourself too hard. It's your journey.
You call the shots. Okay, I want to talk about something that I think is really cool. The positive changes people see in themselves when they quit. It's not just the physical stuff. It's like a whole new...
You said it. So many quitters talk about feeling more confident, more energetic, more in control. They've kicked this huge addiction. And that sense of accomplishment, it shows.
It's like a radiating confidence.
Totally. And a lot of times their relationships get better too. They're not as irritable. They have more time and energy for the people they care about.
It's like they've got this newfound freedom. Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive, any final words of wisdom, stuff you want our listener to take with them on their journey?
Absolutely. First things first, remember you're stronger than you think. You have the power to break free. It won't be a walk in the park, but it will be worth it every step of the way.
You've got this.
What else?
Be patient. Be kind to yourself. Quitting, it's a process, not a switch you flip. There will be bumps, but don't let them throw you off course. Celebrate those wins, learn from the setbacks, and keep moving forward.
Progress, not perfection. Love it. All right, last but not least, your final thought for our listener who's about to embark on this incredible journey.
Never give up on yourself. You deserve a healthy, happy life, free from cigarettes. And we believe in you.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for taking this deep dive with us. We hope it's been helpful, informative, inspiring, maybe even a little bit life-changing.
My pleasure.
Remember, quitting smoking. It's a journey, but it's a journey that leads to a brighter, healthier, happier you. One step at a time, one craving at a time. You can do this.
We're rooting for you every step of the way.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.